just want to give you a video this morning, and it is entitled "How to Get a Piece of Property for $100." So this is the concept. The entire concept revolves around property taxes. So throughout all 50 states, throughout the United States, you have people that own property that pay property taxes. And oftentimes what happens is people can go, depends on the city, depends on the county. People could go 2, 3, 4, 5 years sometimes 7 years, 6 years before they enter into something called, I call it property tax foreclosure. It's another term for it is delinquent property taxes. So what happens is this: people fall behind on property taxes, and what happens over a period of time is either the local city or local county is going to push for foreclosure. In other words, not necessarily foreclosure on the loan, to push for foreclosure on that property to get those back property taxes paid. That's the entire objective. And that, with that being said, there are people out there that lose 100, 200, 300, $500,000 properties for unpaid property taxes. Why do people go on a property tax foreclosure? Different reasons. Could be having medical issues, income issues, spousal divorce issue, whatever it is. It's so many things that can go wrong in people's lives that they fall victim to delinquent property taxes. So you've also heard of a term called tax lien auctions, tax lien foreclosure, or tax lien auction. That's where properties are sold at auction for the back property taxes. Okay. This is not that. This is getting behind on taxes. This is between having delinquent property taxes and before it goes to auction. Okay. This is delinquent property taxes. These are people who haven't fallen to the final stages yet, but are behind enough to where it raises a red flag with the property that says, hey, look, I'm not going to pay my taxes. My house is actually getting ready. I'm getting ready to lose my property. And I need to do something. This particular concept works really well with land, but it can also work well with houses and commercial property and farms and that type of thing. So what you do is you contact your local city or county, whatever it is, and you type in, first thing you do is go ahead. Let's say, for instance, you live in Houston, Texas. And so what you type into Google is Houston, Texas property taxes. What's going to come up is the tax assessor's office. In many places, the tax assessor is the point of contact to talk to about delinquent property taxes. Okay. It can be named differently in different areas, but in my area out here in Atlanta, Georgia, it's the property tax assessor's office, or the tax assessor's office is your point of contact in contacting them about people who have delinquent property tax. So what you do is you go ahead, you contact them either by mail or by phone or by email. And what you want to do is contact them and ask them, would they have records of people who have fallen behind on their property taxes. And so what you do is once you go ahead, you get that list, is typically in an Excel format. You go to a website called Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. Okay. You contact somebody from there and you ask them to source the list for you. What you're looking for on that list, because it's going to come with a whole bunch, like 10 or 20 different columns of a lot of different information. All you need is this. You need the owner's name. You need the property address. Obviously, and if you want to, the amount of property taxes. And what you want to do is you want to focus on property taxes that are actually 2 years old and older. Why do I say that? That first year, people kind of forget, to go ahead and pay their property taxes, or they're waiting for their tax refund to go ahead and pay property taxes or what have you. So many people are going to cure their back property taxes. You want to wait 2 years, at least a couple of years. That's kind of a sweet spot in contacting owners that are not necessarily either not paying attention or not interested in paying property taxes. Like I said, it's huge with land, because land, you can't necessarily live on it. It's just land. And you got thousands of people out there who are falling behind on property taxes, and they don't care what goes on with their land. But like I said, it can be houses. Property taxes could be a little bit too high, what have you. It can be a farm. It can be a piece of commercial property. So what you do is you go ahead, you take the time to contact these people. And what you're looking for, you just go ahead and ask them. You can ask them, I would say your best bet would be a letter. Hey, my name is Gerald. I see that your property is behind on taxes. You can mention the taxes. I've mentioned the taxes before, and I've gotten a very powerful response. Not necessarily negative, but people that are like, yeah, what can you give me for this property? Because they know they're getting ready to lose their property. You can do a yellow letter marketing. You can actually go ahead and go on Google and Google property tax, delinquent property tax letter samples, or what have you. Or what you do is go ahead and in the bottom of the description, go ahead and if you leave your information, better yet, this is what I'll do. I'll put an example of a letter that you can go ahead and mail to owners that are behind in property taxes. Look at the link at the bottom. Guys, so what you do is this. You make multiple offers, make hundreds of offers, make a lot of them, because numbers will kind of sway in your favor. Make hundreds of offers, make offers on properties for $100 a pop. $100 offer, $100 offer, $100 offer. Don't worry about getting the no's and people that blow you out of the water and people that, don't worry about it. Numbers will definitely work in your favor. Like I said, it works really, really well with land and abandoned properties, and properties that have been totally destroyed by tenants and that type of thing, that are just sitting there, accumulating housing code violations and that type of thing. So once you get a hit and somebody says, yeah, I'll sell you my property for $100. So what you do is go ahead and you write up an offer. Okay. And you can either write up an all cash offer, or you can go through a process of them quit claiming the property to you. Now, once you get that property for $100, you have to cure the back property taxes. Back property taxes can be $5,000. Okay. They can be $10,000. They can be $1,500. Right. They can be whatever amount it is. But think about this. Once you go ahead and let's say, for instance, you get the property for $100, you turn around, cure the back property taxes. Or let's say, for instance, you don't cure the back property taxes. You go ahead, you turn around, you wholesale the property, right? Let's say, for instance, that property is worth $50,000, but it has, let's say, $2,500 in back property taxes. That's a steal. Think about it, guys. I just gave you a secret as to how a lot of people, and even let's say for instance you're an agent, right? You're a real estate agent. You can build a ton of listings like this and contacting people that are back on property tax, that are behind on property taxes. Think about that. That's gold. Nobody's doing that. Agents are not typically are not marketing to people with back property taxes. There was a guy that I ran into, had to be about 10, 12 years ago. And I didn't know how this guy was getting deals. I didn't know how he was getting listings, and I didn't know how he was getting property so cheap. It took me 10 years to figure out that this guy was contacting people who were back on property taxes about to lose their property. And he had developed a system to contact these people, to approach these people and say, hey, look, I can give you XYZ for this property. And he was killing it. And nobody knew, nobody could figure. And it took me 10 years to figure that out. What he was doing, he was targeting people who were behind on property taxes. Guys, I'm telling you, you want to destroy it in the business? I just gave you a tip for the century. You can build real estate listings off of this. You can get your property for crazy cheap using this concept. You can wholesale off of this. So many things. That concept, 10 properties can make you wealthy. Trust me. This is Gerald. Have a good one.